Okay, chapter 19, application of performance management measurement. Okay, performance measurement. So this chapter is more on measurements on all the performance of different businesses. Okay, for example, okay, performance measurement for manufacturing company business. So how do we measure the performance of those in the manufacturing business? How do we measure the performance of those in the manufacturing business? Number two is, how do we measure the performance of those in the service industry? Measure the performance of those in the service industry. Number three, how do we measure the performance of those non-profit making organization? Measure the performance of non-profit making organization. How do we measure the performance of the management? Measure the performance of those managers. Responsibility center performance measure. So how do we measure the performance of responsibility center? Okay, that is until number 5 lah. Right, so those are performance measurement, and of course number 6, number 7, the one we deal with that later. Okay, so we have 5 points on performance measurement on those in different type of business and industries. Okay, so we start with number 1. Our example all this while is always been based on manufacturing business. Okay, now we have material costs, production of table, we involve material costs, labor costs, overhead. So how do we measure the performance of those in the manufacturing business? We know we have sales. In our earlier chapter on standard costing, okay, what we have is budget compare with the actual, and then the difference is known as the variance. So this one has been covered in the earlier chapter. Standard costing, comparing budget against the actual. So we have the variance, the difference is the variance. We have favorable and we have adverse. So we have covered sales, variance. We have covered direct material, direct labor, variable, and also fixed production overhead, variance. Okay, so this standard costing are also known as the traditional measures, the old measurement, okay, on the company's performance. So the budget, if it's 100 in terms of the cost, if the actual cost is higher, then of course it is adverse. If the budget is 100, actual cost is 88, then we have actual cost is lower, we have favorable. These are traditional measures. Okay, so this one is on sales. We know sales, we have sales price and quantity. However, for modern measurement, okay, in terms of sales, okay, the measurement can be based on customers rejects as compared to the total sales. Example, you sell 1,000 unit, so how many of them is actually rejected or returned? Assuming it is 10, so that will be 1%. Okay, now last year it was 5%, this year it is 1%, so drop. This is how we measure the company's performance in terms of sales. Okay, for Pizza Hut, for DHL example, so the measurement on the sales is delivery on schedule 100,000 compared to those that has been delivered late 1. So again, it is 1% of the total delivery is late. Okay, last year it was 3%. So again, the performance measurement here is it has improved because drop from 3 to 1%. Okay, so these are all the modern measurement. Again, when come to material, direct material, we have material price, we have material usage. These are all traditional measurement. So modern measurement, it can be based on number of rejects in material supply. Okay, so example, they supply 1000 kg, of which 10 kg is reject. Okay, that in turn consists of 1% of the total goods. So you compare against last year, 5%, same thing, it has been improved. Okay, so measurement, we have traditional, we have modern. In terms of labor, traditional is direct labor, we have direct labor rate variance, we have efficiency and idle time. However, when come to modern measurement, okay, in terms of labor, we need to look at our labor. Do they have interpersonal skill within the colleague, with the colleagues' ability to communicate? So these are all the new measurement. Okay, these are mostly in figures. These are not in figures, non-financial. Overheads, we have variable, we have fixed. Okay, whereas for modern measurement, for variable is the machine time breakdown, total machine hour, 1000 machine hour, of which again 10 hour is actually machine breakdown time. So again, this is 1%. Last month's machine breakdown time, 1% of the total, compared to 5%. Example. Okay, these are modern measurement. Right, so for manufacturing, considered settled because it's a major area in the early chapters. So what we learn is mostly on the traditional. However, you have to know also some of the new measurement. Okay, modern measurement. Okay, for those in the service industry, example, airline, hotel, hospital. Okay, so these are example of those in the service industry, and there are 4 characteristics. Okay, of course, airline, hotel, hospital, they provide services. They don't have tangible goods. Okay, they do not have tangible goods. So all are intangible, means they cannot be seen, cannot touch, cannot feel. Cannot touch, cannot feel, cannot see. Okay, the services cannot be touched, cannot feel, cannot be seen. And they are provided simultaneously, means the airline business, example AirAsia, they provide to customer. Okay, so the moment they provide the service, we will receive the service simultaneously at the same time. Okay, not means it cannot be stored. Cannot be stored means it cannot produce today, not like manufacturing. Produce today, keep in the stock, and then you sell to the customer tomorrow. We produce today, but probably customer receive in the future, tomorrow or next month, so can keep stock. So this is for manufacturing. However, for service industry, the services cannot be stopped, and services are always heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means different, vary. Means today you are happy with the service, tomorrow you may not be happy. Okay, because it's provided by different person, it's provided even by the same person, but at different time you may feel, you may be satisfied, may not be satisfied with the services because they are different. Okay, homogeneous for manufacturing company, the product, the table are homogeneous. they are same. All tables are the same, design, color, everything homogeneous. But for service industry, they are heterogeneous. Okay, so these are the characteristics of those in the service industry. So how are we going to measure the performance of those airline, hotel, hospital? If it's manufacturing, we know the measurement is customer satisfaction. We look at the number of rejects. Manufacturing, we can measure the performance based on those measurements. Okay, the performance. But for the service industry, this is how we measure. Okay, we have 6 dimensions here. So we look at the competitive performance, means AirAsia, we look at the sales growth performance. We look at the market share. Example, we look at the market share. AirAsia last year, 2019, 2018, their market share compared to Malaysia Airlines. So they service about 80% of the customer. This year service about 83%. So market share has increased. So means good lah. Market share has increased. So performance has improved. Okay, so there's no such thing as what price. The usage variance, no quantity. All right, so it's based on competitive performance. The other one is based on financial performance, meaning the standard cost per unit can be established. Example, for company we have the cost per unit. Manufacturing company cost per unit, here it should be based on the standard cost per unit. Example, for transportation, example, transportation, yeah, LRT. So the cost per person per station to the company, it is $2 last year. This year, the company is able to reduce them to $180 per person per station. So you don't see that like $2 per unit, no such thing, because they don't produce goods. Therefore $2 per person per station, and the company is able to reduce them to $180 per person per station. Okay, so these are known as financial performance in terms of the costing lah. If it's a hotel will be the room cost per night, per room per night, per room per night. Okay, so the cost to maintain a room for one night is $20. It has been reduced to, or it has increased to $23 per room per night, means increased by $3 lah to maintain for one room one night. Okay, this is for hotel business. That's why we have apostrophe per unit, because it can never be in the unit. It can be per person per station or per room per night. Another way to measure the performance will be based on quality service. How to measure? Based on survey. Okay, customer satisfaction. Another way to measure is on the speed of delivery, waiting time for different industry. Let's say in the banking industry. Okay, waiting time is from 20 minutes, able to reduce it to 18 minutes. So waiting time reduced from 20 minutes to 18 minutes. So nothing to do with money, but it's based on the services. Okay, resource utilization for hotel, it will be room occupancy. Last time, okay, out of the room that is available, 80% occupancy every day, and the company is able to promote the hotel and able to increase them to 85% occupancy. Okay, the take up rate. This is for hotel. Resource utilization. Okay, the number of hotel is your resources, and what is your utilization rate? Increase from 80 to 85. Alright. If it's LRT, resource utilization, they have the coach. Okay, how many percent the ridership? In KL, let's say every day is 800,000 K ridership. Okay, if we are able to increase it to 850 ridership, so utilize the coach. Resource utilization. Okay, the coach means the LRT, the gerabah lah in Malay, we call that. Alright. So the other one is based on innovation. Innovation is how do you innovate your product. So one example is that first you have to understand your customer needs, and how do you deliver your goods or your services on time, or are you able to meet their demand. Is it okay? So example, some customer service auditor, some customer they want to reduce tax. So are you able to meet the customer's demand, and how fast can you meet their demand? Okay, so if you are talking about construction, renovation, different customer, they have different demand. So are you able to meet the customer's needs, and within how long? Okay, now how fast can you meet their requirement? So these are how you measure the performance of the company in the service industry. Alright, so do you have to memorize all this? No need lah, but you just have to know there are ways to measure the customers or the company's performance in the service industries. Is it okay? So measure based on the sales, measure based on the cost per unit, based on the quality, as in the customer satisfaction, ability to meet the demand. Okay, improvisation of the resource utilization. Alright. Number 3, non-profit making organization. Non-profit making organization. In Malaysia, we have a MAKNA. These are organization for cancer patient. NKF, National Kidney Foundation. This is for kidney. Okay, kidney patient. We have a DBKL. These are local government. Okay, so the purpose they are being set up here is not to make profit. Company, service industry, manufacturing, trading, businesses are set up mainly is to make profit. So when they make profit, of course they incur costs. Okay, material costs, labor costs, we can measure the performance. Okay, together with profit. Service, they do incur costs, they generate income, so we can measure the performance. Non-profit making organization. Okay, we know MAKNA, NKF, DBKL, these are local government. They are organizations set up, not the purpose is not to make profit. So when you want to measure the performance, we cannot measure the performance based on profitability. Okay, they have different objectives. They are set up to serve different objectives. Okay, so how can we measure the performance? So we have the 3 E's: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay, to measure the performance, it will be the 3 E's: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay, example. So these are the non-profit making organization. They are set up not to make profit. So normally they receive money from donors. Okay, if it's DBKL means from government lah. money from federal government. Okay, so non-profit making organization, they receive the money, and how do we measure the performance? The 3 E's: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay, so you are using donors' money, government's money, okay, the money that you have. Of course, you must use them economically. Okay, example, you have IKEA. You want to buy a table from IKEA, $100. You buy from a second-hand shop, $30. Okay, the money that you receive from the donors, you must use them wisely, frugal. Okay, not so. Of course, the decision here is to make sure you spend, to buy the table, you spend $30 from the second-hand shop. Okay, spend wisely, economically. This is what I mean by spending them frugally. Spending money frugally. Okay, not limited. Alright, so this is economically. Efficiency and also effectiveness. This one we have to explain these two together: efficiency and effectiveness. Assuming here the company received money from the donors, and this money here they want to help as many people as possible. So they receive 1,000 and they are able to help 100 people. Example, receive 1,000, help, this one later, help 100 people, or put it here lah, help 10 people. So per person, you'll be receiving example $10 per person. This one will be $100 per person. Okay, so now in terms of efficiency for non-profit making organization, efficiency means help as many people as possible. Yes, they help more people means they are more efficient. But in terms of effectiveness, which one will be more effective? Imagine you were to help someone, you give them $10 per person. Does it really helps? $10 maybe not effective. Okay, not one day, let's say you will help me on my to support me on my daily spending on food and beverages. One day I spend $50. Okay, not example, $10 maybe it's not effective, but you give me $100, of course it's very effective. Okay, but you help how many person? In the second example here, you spend $1,000 to help 10 people, so it is not efficient because you help less people. But is it effective? Yes, it is effective. Okay, so you have to juggle between efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, so 3E. Okay, now economy, efficiency, effectiveness. Another example, let's say you're a non-profit making organization, old folks home. So this is the house, just a bungalow. Okay, a bungalow can fit, let's say, 15 person. Okay, so they are living comfortably. Okay, you're able to help them and they are very happy, so it's very effective. But let's say another 6 person asked to stay in this bungalow, so now total will be 21. Okay, now so everybody will have to cram into this bungalow, so you're helping more people, efficient. But when 21 persons staying in a room, then everyone will be like very crowded. Okay, everyone will be very stuffy, not happy. So means it's not effective lah. Efficient but not effective. Is it okay? So you have to juggle between efficiency and effectiveness. Alright, so the 3 E's. So these are the problems with the 3 E's. They have many objectives. Company, one objective, profit. Reduce cost, increase income. However, for non-profit making organization, they have many objectives and they are very different. Okay, so when you have different objectives, you have different measurement. Different objectives, you're gonna have different measurement. Many objectives, many measurements. Okay, so in that case, how do you measure? So we use judgment, means expert or those who fund the activity, means the donor. Are they happy? If they're happy, good. If they're not happy, means not good. So your performance is based on the judgment by the donors, the government. Okay, comparison against each other or against historical result. Okay, like last year you are able to help 1,000 people. This year you are able to help 1,002 people. Okay, so you compare to last year, so you are able to help more people, good. Or you can compare with different with each other, meaning you compare the one in KL, you compare the one with in Sabah. Okay, NKF, KL against Sabah. Okay, with the same amount of money, you are able to help 1,002, but however, the one in Sabah are able to help 1,150. So you can compare different year. Okay, this is per KL lah, KL. This one is 2019, 2020. So you're comparing against last year, you're comparing against another branch. Alright. So this one also considered as service, therefore your unit cost of measurement can be cost per patient. Example, the government allocate 100 million, okay, able to help 10 million people. So one person subsidized $10 last year per person. This year the government allocate 120, able to help 20 million patient, so $6 per patient. So the government able to reduce the cost per patient and number of patient also increase, so the overall the performance has improved. Okay, not? Next is management's performance measurement. So how do we measure the performance of the management? So in a company, you have many department. So you got HR department, you got the production department, you got the sales department, you got the finance department. Okay, so each of these department you have your manager. So these are what we call the management. So we want to measure the measurement of measure the performance of these individual managers. So this is what we call the management's performance measurement. Okay, so example here, how do you measure? Based on subjective measure, judgment from peer who are impartial, means not biased, means fair. judgment from your peer. Means you want to measure the performance of production manager, you get manager from other department to give judgment. Okay, so you get managers from different department, okay, to give judgments on the performance of the production manager. So example, sales manager, their sales is very high. So when your sales is high, however the production is very low, of course you can pass judgment like, okay, production slow, it affect my sales. But if the production is good, so it doesn't affect my sales in terms of the stock, of course you can pass judgment, okay, yeah, the production department manager is doing a very good job. Okay, not judgment from outsiders. Okay, you look at the share market is good, means you are doing okay. Upward appraisal means you have the manager, you have the supervisor, you have the staff. Okay, now the lower rank staff, so they will give the appraisal, okay, on your boss. Okay, my boss is doing good job, my boss is doing good job. So upward appraisal involving staff giving their opinion on the performance of their managers, or accounting measures that's tailored according to what or whom they are being judged. Example, HR manager or sales manager. So normally sales manager, they are being judged based on the quantity sold, customer satisfaction, okay, then on one particular year the factory rental has increased. Factory rental increased from 1 million increased to 1.2 million. So when the cost increase, of course production will be affected, and the cost will be affected, sales also affected. So question is, the cost has increased by 200,000. Can we use this increase here to measure the performance of the sales manager? So answer is we can't, because this cost is not controllable by the sales manager. Okay, the rental, factory rental, whether it increase or it decrease, it is not within the sales manager's control. Okay, not so the increase in the cost here should not be used as a basis to measure the sales manager's performance lah. Okay, the quantity sold, the customer satisfaction, are all this within their control, so they can help to improve. So these are all controllable by the sales manager, so we measure the performance based on those that can be controlled by them. Is it okay? So far we have covered manufacturing. If you are in the business here, we can measure the performance based on their sales, based on the material, labor, variable and overhead, the performance based on this income and cost. For the service industry, because they don't have product, so we have different measurement. Okay, for non-profit making organization, because their objective is not to make profit, and they have different objectives and multiple objectives, so their measurements should not be based on profitability but based on others. Alright, so we can use the judgment by the donors, compare with different branch compared to last year. Okay, and this one is the performance measurement. How do you measure the performance of the management itself, not the company but the management, individual management itself? Right, so this is number 4. And number 5, responsibility center performance measurement. So actually we have covered responsibility center before in note 1. Okay, if you look at note 1, page 23, page 22, responsibility center. we have a revenue center, 4 responsibility center. Okay, revenue, cost, profit. So we have cost, we have revenue, then of course we have profitability center, and we got the investment center. So revenue center means your sales. So their main concern here is about sales. Cost center, main concern is about the cost. So cost, we got a production cost, sales cost, human resource department, all these are the cost center. And profitability center, and last one is investment center. So it's summarized here. This is Apple, and they have branches in California, they have branches in Los Angeles, or division or department. So they have to invest. Okay, because different branch, they got to invest in the asset, office machinery, they're gonna have their own liability. So you're gonna have investment. Okay, assuming now they invest 10 million, and this HQ in Florida, they sell iPad, iPhone, and iPod. These are known as revenue center. Okay, and assuming you are the manager here, so you're in charge of iPhone division, so your focus is on selling iPhone only on selling iPhone, purely on sales. So this is a revenue center. Okay, so iPhone, you have the manufacturing, you have the R&D department. These are the R&D manager. So these are the individual managers in charge of production, in charge of the R&D. So these are the cost center. Okay, and if you are the person in charge of the whole iPhone division, including the sales, the production, including the R&D, so these are the profit center. And what is the main concern here is about profitability. Okay, so Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D, they are all managers for their respective center. So Mr. A, in charge of all this whole thing, income and cost, in charge of profitability center, their main concern is about profitability. But for B, his concern is more on sales, last year sales, this year sales, okay, the return percentage, customer satisfaction. For Mr. C, production department, in terms of output, cost per unit, wastage. So they have their own responsibility. We have way to measure the performance, in which we have discussed earlier. Now you have 4 responsibility center, and next one is investment center. So investment center, you have to invest 10 million because you have to buy their assets, you have to incur the liability. So invest 10 million here. Probably in California you have to invest 6 million. Okay, in this branch in Los Angeles you have to invest 12 million. So you have to have investment in this respective investment center. So the main concern for this investment center is return. So we have 2 measurements, ROI and RI. ROI and RI. Okay, return on investment and residual income. So back to note 2, responsibility center. Of course we got cost center, we got profit center, revenue. Of course one is missing, is the revenue center lah. Okay, revenue center. So the manager means the person in charge of the cost center. Their responsible is based on cost. This one, the manager, their responsible is the cost, and the revenue means profitability. And investment center, you're the head of the branch, is more on the return, ROI, and also RI. Okay, So this is the formula example. Yeah, if you invest $100, invest, and the return is $5, so the return is 5%. If you invest 200, the return is $20, so the percentage is 10%. If you invest 300, the return is 90, so it is 30%. So this is your investment, this is your return in terms of dollar. That is why the formula is your profit divided by your investment. Profit divided by investment. This is your profit, this is your investment. Okay, the profit here will be your PBIT, profit before interest and tax, or we call this the operating profit for that particular investment center. Okay, capital employed is your investment. Okay, profit divided by investment. RI will be your residual, means your balance. Means you take RI will be your operating profit or your PBIT minus interest. Okay, operating profit minus interest. Percentage times, or I put it this way, operating profit minus interest. How do you get interest? Interest, I borrow money, I have to pay interest to the bank, assuming it is 10%. So it will be percentage times the investment. So this is the interest. Percentage of the cost times the investment. Okay, so X percent times investment is your interest. So it's operating profit minus interest. Okay, I give you one example here. So this is company, let's say this is a ABC Co. Borrow 100 million at a cost of 15% from bank. So this is division A, division B, division C. These are the investment center. So now you're considering investing in B, assuming you're considering investing in B, and the investment require 20 million. The investment require 10 million, and the investment, this one require 8 million. So you're the board of directors here. Your concern is if you invest 10 million, 20 million and 8 million. Our concern is ROI and RI. So the profit from here is 2 million. Example, the profit is 4 million. Profit is 1 million. Okay, so ROI for A. ROI for A is your profit divided by investment. So the profit is 4 million. Out of 10 million invest in this division, so it's 40%. This one is profit divide by the investment of 20 million, so it's 10%, and this one is 1 divided by 8, it will be 12.5%. Okay, what is the RI? RI is the operating profit minus the interest. So operating profit is the profit of 4 million. Okay, profit 4 million. So minus the interest. Interest is the okay. Now the interest is 15%. Of the investment, 10 million. So 4 million minus 15% is 1.5. Residual income is 2.5 million. Okay, so an example, yeah. When company put in 10 million, when company invest 10 million, so is there a cost to this 10 million? Division A is just a branch, it's just a division. Okay, they do not borrow money. Division A don't borrow money from the bank. Okay, company borrow 100 million at 15% from bank. So the company will have to pay 15% interest to the bank. It is the company that pay the interest 15%. Company pay interest 15%. The company then allocate 10 million to division A. Division A do not have to pay 15% to the bank. They don't have to pay 15% to the bank. Company will have to pay. So actually, for division A, is there a cost to the 10 million? Answer is yes, because the 10 million, the cost is 15% payable by the company, your headquarter. Okay, not so the 10 million is not free. So the 10 million make 4 million profit. From that 10 million, they make 4 million profit, so they make 40%. But what is the net income actually derived from this 4 million? So assuming now we calculate the RI, the 10 million cost is 1.5 million. So this is the interest, the cost of the 10 million. So you take the 4 million profit, you minus out the interest of 1.5. This is the residual. Residual means the balance. Okay, so in terms of profitability, percentage is 40%. So the net, it is 2.5 million in value. Is it okay? Alright, so ROI for division B, the company actually allocate 20 million and they make 2 million, so overall return is ROI is 10%. What is the residual? 2 million minus the cost is 15% of 2 million, 20 million. So the residual is negative 1 million. Not good. Put in 20 million even though they make a 10% return, but it costs 15%. Return is 10%, cost is 15%. A 20 million that costs 50% generate only 10% return. A cost of 15% generate only 10%. That's why you got a negative, not good. Okay, so the return is not good, even though it's 10%, but not enough to cover the cost. Okay, the 15% cost not enough, that's why it's negative. Okay, let's look at the second example, the third example. Operating profit is 8 million minus the cost of 50% from that. Profit is 1 million. 8, so it's 1.2. Again, it's not enough to cover, so that's why it's negative. Residual is negative. Okay, so if I were to ask you, the company is to invest in division, this is 1 million. Okay, division D, invest 10 million, profit is 3 million. Should the company continue? So you calculate the ROI, you calculate the RI. If everything is okay, then you invest. Means you set up the new division. Okay, our focus is on ROI, RI. So this is how you measure the performance of the responsibility center. Okay, so for investment center, measure the performance based on ROI and also RI. So we use this example 5.1. So this is the headquarter, this is the company, invest in division M. Okay, this is MR. Division M is a division of MR PLC. Net asset investment is asset 20 million, investment 20 million. Profit is 5 and the cost is 15. MR PLC is considering two proposals. Invest a further 2 million. 20 million. Profit is 5. So 20 million, invest another 2 million. So 22 million investment, and the profit 0.4, so 5 million plus 0.4. This is proposal 1. Proposal 2, dispose of fixed asset at the net book value of 5. You sell, and this will lead to a profit falling by 1 million, and the proceed from the sale would not be credited to division N but to his holding company of MR's PLC instead. Meaning MR, and this is division M, when they sell the asset, the money will then be returned to MR PLC. When they sell, the money will then be returned. So the investment will be 20 million minus 5.5, 14.5 million investment. And what happened to the profit after you sell? Fall by 1 million. So calculate the current and the residual and consider the two proposals. So calculate ROI, RI now. Okay, as of now. So ROI is your PBIT, profit before interest and tax, or operating profit for this division divided by capital employed or investment. So a profit of 5 million from an investment of 20 . Okay, so return is 25%, cost is 15%. We know residual income is positive. Return is 25%, cost is 15%, RI will be positive. So let's calculate RI. The profit you can get from here, 5 million. So what is the cost for that 20 million? 15%. So the division received the 20 million from the headquarter. The headquarter must pay 15%. So 5 million minus 3, the balance is 2 million. This is current ROI, RI. So we have two proposals. Let's calculate ROI, RI for this and this. Proposal 1, ROI will be the profit 5.4, 22. RI 5.4 minus the cost is 15% of the investment. So you can get from 5.4, 22. Okay, proposal 2, for 4 million 14.5. $27.6. So this is the interest, 4 million minus the interest. Interest is 2.175, the notional interest. Of course, they don't have to pay to the bank, but this is the what we call the notional interest. Yeah. $1.825. Okay. So we have proposal 1, proposal 2, and current. Let's summarize. Current P1 and proposal 2, ROI is 25%, proposal 1 is 24.5 and 27.6%. RI is 2 million, $2.1 million, 1.82 million. Okay, so assumption. Money is not, as in investment, money is not an issue. Assumption here, the investment, the money here, the investment, you can see here the investment is 20 million. Invest in the net asset. Investment, some are 14 million, some are 22 million. So the investment is not an issue. So what is our option? Option current, P1 or P2. Okay, so if based on ROI, this is the highest among the three. If it's based on ROI, this will be the highest. So question is, my option, should I go for P1 or proposal 2? Okay, so if based on this assumption, money is not an issue, means investment is not an issue, then should we base on percentage or should we base on the value? Answer is we should go for option 1 with this assumption. Is it okay? So RI money 2.1 million will be better option compared to P2 and the current. Okay, with the assumption that money is not an issue. So this is very important assumption. Alright, so I give you an example. So this is A, this is B, this is C. Return in percentage, this is 10%, this is 40%, this is 20%. Okay, so we have three choices here, A, B and C. With the information available, of course B seems to be better. Okay, what if I give you one additional info here, profit. Or investment. Investment, you have to invest 2 million. This one you invest 100,000. This one you invest 500,000. So what will be the profit in dollar? 200,000, 40,000 and 100,000. You can only choose one. You can only choose one. So earlier, without this info, B seems to be a better investment. Now once I include this investment, you need to invest 2 million, 100,000 and also 500, and the returns will be $200,000, 40 and 100. So you can only choose one. So money investment, as in this case here, is not an issue. Invest 2 million, your bank invest 2 million, not an issue. 100,000 not an issue. 500,000 not an issue. You can only choose one. If I can invest in all three, I will invest in all three. But say you can only choose one, money is not an issue, which one will you invest? Okay, so let's say you have 500 million in your bank. Money is not an issue. 2 million, 100,000, 500,000 is not an issue. You have 500,000 in the bank. It's not an issue. So of course you go for, in terms of profitability, in terms of return, of course we go for option A. Okay, because in terms of the value, this is higher. So example, this is our RI, this is our ROI. So our decision should be based on RI, because investment money is not an issue. Is it okay? So that's why our decision here is based on RI with this assumption here. Okay, it's like asking you invest $100, invest 2,000, and invest 60. You have 10,000 in the bank. You got 20,000 in the bank lah. You got 20,000 in the bank. You got option A, option B, option C. Percentage of return 80%, 30%, and 50%. This one will be $80. This one will be $600, and this one $30. You keep in the bank pay you less than 1%. So 20,000 22,000 is not much lah. So of course I'll go for B lah, because they can give me higher return. $600 I can spend rather than 80 and 30, even though the percentage is higher and higher. Okay, so ROI and RI. So we look at this example now. Question: page 50. A division earned annual profit of 50,000 from an investment of 400,000. What is the ROI and RI at interest rate of 5%? Imputed interest rate means the cost is 5%. So ROI is your profit divided by investment RI is the residual. So our cost is 5% and the return is 12.5%. RI will be positive. Okay, not? So the profit is 50. You can get from here. The interest is 5% of your investment. This is money taken from headquarters, so it costs interest, imputed interest of 20,000. So yeah, it's a positive 30,000 residual income. $89. A division earn annual profit and ROI of 10% per annum. Given is ROI. What is the ROI? At a rate of 5%. ROI is 10%, profit is 320, divide by investment. So investment will be this much. RI is the profit minus 5% of the investment. So this will be the answer. Number 90. Division earn annual profit of 120. ROI is 25%. What is the RI? So similar to question 89. So this is the answer. 91. Division M of Manico company is considering a project which will increase profit after tax by 60, but require average inventory level to increase by 400. Require inventory increase by 400. The current target return is 14 and the interest is 12%. Based on the ROI and or RI criteria, would the project be accepted? Okay, so you try. So the target is 14% and you have a 15%. So yes. So RI, the cost is 12%, you still generate a 12,000 return. So yes. Number 91. In a non-profit making organization, state-run entity, government agency, a value for money audit can be used to measure the performance. So there are three key areas: efficiency, and also effectiveness and economy. Which of the following could be used to describe effectiveness in this? Effectiveness. So we know efficiency means help as many as possible. Effectiveness means how effective is the how effective is the particular cost that you incur in helping the person. So answer, it is effective means they achieve the target. You want to help the person and it really helps means they are effective. So compare the $10 per person, $100 per person. So this is efficiency because we can help many people. With the available money, we can help many people, so it's efficient. But with $100, it will be more effective. Okay, now it really helps, so it meets the target. Okay. So avoiding waste input is being economy. Do not waste. Achieving a given level of profit, it is never the main objective of the non-profit making organization. Obtaining suitable quality input at the lowest cost, this is economy. Sorry, this is efficiency. Avoiding wastage is efficiency. Efficient in using the resources. Okay, so this is effective. Avoiding wastage, so efficient in using the resources. Okay, number 92. The performance of public funded hospital, public funded means government hospital, is monitored using measured based on the 3 E's. The most important performance is considered to be the achievement of the target for the successful treatment of patient. So achievement of target, achieving target. Which of the 3 E's best described? Okay, achieving target means the company, hospital is being effective. Alright, so let's turn to this page. Okay, this is your page. Of course, page 72. Then the following page is actually a new page, page 1 of 13. Next page is another set lah, page 1 of 13. We look at question 2. A division earned profit of 150 and has capital employed of 500. It is considering a project that would increase the profit by 5. But this increased profit by 5 and this would increase the capital by 20. A rate of 15% is used to calculate the interest. This is the cost of capital. Calculate the effect on the RI and ROCE. ROCE is your ROI. Yeah? Return on capital employed, ROI is the same if the division accept the project. So current ROI is 150 divided by 500. 30%. RI 75. The new ratio, profit will increase by 5,000. So 150 plus 5,000 divided by your investment will increase by 20,000. So 500,000 increased by another 20,000. So what will be my new ROI? $155 divided by 520, 29.8%. ROI 155 minus 15% of 520. $77. Okay, so current is 30. If I invest, it will decrease. So ROI will decrease. So either this or this lah. ROI will increase. So is this. So answer is boy. Okay, so the same thing apply to number 3. All right. So if the question gave us the interest is 20,000, cost of capital is 10%. Profit is 80,000. So find ROI. So we know ROI is profit divided by investment. So we have a profit which is 80. But how much is the investment? Not sure. Okay, so how? We use the information given here. So we know RI is profit minus the percentage times the investment. So RI is 80. Minus percentage 10% of investment. Again, we don't have investment. But given is interest. So we know that this is profit, operating profit minus interest. So 10% of investment, 10% of your investment is of interest, which is 20,000. Okay, so we actually can find the RI, which is 60. But the question asks for ROI. So ROI, we have to use this to find the investment. So 10% of investment is interest. So investment will be divide 10%, it will be 200,000. Investment is 200,000, therefore ROI will be 40%. Okay, so this one very careful, be very careful. They give you the interest, they give you also the cost of capital, means the interest charge percentage 10%, so we can find investment. All right, done. So I'll continue point number 6 and the rest in our next video.